This is 5 on your side at 4. Focused on you.
And we begin at 4 with breaking news. A St. Louis judge has moved to hold the St. Louis Circuit Attorney and one of her deputies in indirect criminal contempt of court. Good evening. I'm Brent Solomon.
And I'm Kay Quinn. The judge issued his ruling about 2 hours ago. This comes after Gardner's assistant circuit attorney, Chris DeSillets, failed to show up at a trial and hearing earlier this month. 5 on your side's Christine Byers was in the courtroom this afternoon. She's live outside the Carnahan Courthouse tonight with more. Christine, why did the judge issue this ruling?
Kate, for the second time this week, representatives from Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's office appeared before a judge to explain why they shouldn't be held in contempt for missing a trial. But this time, the judge found there is enough evidence to proceed to a contempt hearing. The case in question centers on a 2020 shooting in which an 11-year-old girl was injured by a stray bullet. Assistant Circuit Attorney Chris DeSillets did not appear for trial April 10th, having a fellow prosecutor tell the judge he was dealing with a knee injury. The judge then scheduled a status hearing for Monday, and the door was already locked when he showed up. Judge Michael Noble noted several times Kim Gardner herself did not appear in his courtroom for today's hearing. The judge also noted DeSillets alone is assigned to 104 felony cases.
The Circuit Attorney's Office appears to be a rudderless ship of chaos. Ms. Gardner is the Circuit Attorney, and it is her duty to manage the caseload of each staff member. Mr. DeSillets has approximately 104 felony cases. Any prudent practitioner would expect such a caseload to create countless irreconcilable conflicts. It does not appear she has made any reasonable efforts to prevent the resulting chaos. It appears that Ms. Gardner has complete indifference and a conscious disregard for the judicial process.
Very strong words from the judge. Christine, what happens now?
So, Kate, the judge scheduled that contempt hearing for May 30th. That's to give Ms. Gardner and her team time to prepare a defense. He's also called for a special prosecutor to be appointed to oversee that proceeding.
Our Christine Byers reporting live. Christine, thanks. Today, leaders from neighboring counties supporting a plan to combine the City of St. Louis Circuit Attorney and the St. Louis County Prosecutor into one regional office. Just last week, a group of St. Louis County mayors called on Missouri lawmakers to pass a law to combine the offices. They cited significant problems in Kim Gardner's office, but they say it would solve other problems too. Now, in a joint statement, St. Charles, Franklin, and Jefferson County officials say, quote, while this is outside of our jurisdiction, it is a regional issue that affects us all. We will always do whatever we can to help other elected officials in the region, just as we hope they would help us if we needed it.
Right now, investigators are trying to figure out what started a fire that injured a firefighter this morning. Crews were called to the home on Switzer Avenue in Jennings around 7 a.m. The firefighter injured his shoulder trying to reach the second floor. He was taken to a hospital, but we are waiting to learn his condition. No one else was injured in that fire.
Well, elected leaders in the Metro East coming together today to demand millions of dollars to prevent flooding. 5 on your side's Holden Kerwicki joins us now live in Cahokia Heights with more on what those leaders want from the federal government. Holden.
Well, Brent, the issue is actually right behind me. It's the Harding Ditch. And right now, there's only about a foot of water in it. But according to the engineers for Cahokia Heights and the city of East St. Louis, if we get about 3 inches of rain, this subdivision will be completely flooded.
Gracious here in Cahokia Heights. I'd like to thank you all.
It was just over a week ago that the Army Corps of Engineers told leaders in Cahokia Heights and East St. Louis that they need to clean out the Edgemont, Stagger, and WPA ditches, which run through both communities, and reactivate the State Street pump while working to rebuild it with more capacity. But that's only going to solve part of the problem. That's why the mayors of these two communities are calling on the Army Corps to step in and pick up the tab for what's expected to be a $100 million cleanup for the 14-mile waterway.
No longer can we stand by and say we need to do another study. The study's been done. No longer can we say we need to do another survey. The survey's been done. The ditch needs to be fixed, and needs to be fixed right now.
Now, if this fix goes forward, it's estimated to take more than a decade to complete fix all the issues with the local ditches and the canals. But coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, hear why these elected leaders in East St. Louis and Cahokia Heights are asking nearby communities to chip in and pay for part of the tab. Reporting live in Cahokia Heights, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
All right, Holden, thanks. And to our north right now, more flooding concerns for people living along the Mississippi River.
Melting snow is pushing the river over its banks in several towns from Iowa to Minnesota. Pumps are working around the clock and sandbagging efforts are already well underway. All the gates along Dubuque, Iowa's flood wall, they're now closed, where the river is expected to crest Saturday. Other towns may not see relief until next week.
We have weathered the storm. We'll wait for the water to recede and see what kind of damage we have.
Right now, voluntary flood evacuations are underway in the town of Campbell, Wisconsin, while in nearby La Crosse, officials are closely monitoring the levee system there, but have not called for evacuations. All right, let's get to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell now. Is the rising Mississippi going to cause concerns in our area? Because we know it has so many years in the past.
Yeah, and we're going to see levels rising to not as high as 2019, but higher than they've been since 2019, north of St. Louis. The river's definitely on the rise. We'll see that crest coming down towards the end of next week. So the river level's already going up. This is pretty much all from snowmelt. Minor flooding expected at Grafton, moderate flooding from Winfield to the north. Now, when the river crests next week, about Friday in Winfield, it's about 5 feet above flood stage. That means large parts of Highway B and Highway C in northern parts of St. Charles County will flood. As you go farther up the river in Clarksville, you'll see a scene very similar to this along the riverfront. That picture is from June 25th in 2010. It should be about 2 or 3 inches lower than what you see in the picture there, but that's still a little over 6 feet above flood stage. Now, as far as rainfall, you see it south and east of St. Louis. Heaviest right now is out along the Kaskaskia River. New Athens starting to pick up in Carlisle. You're getting it in Nashville. Areas east and southeast of St. Louis with all this cloud cover around, basically holding right now in the 50s. The rest of us are in the 60s. See you in just a few minutes, Kay.
All right, thank you, Scott. Today, the Loop Trolley is once again rolling along the Del Mar Loop. You'll see the trolley running Thursdays through Sundays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. The 2.2-mile route has 10 stops between the University City Library and the Missouri History Museum in Forest Park. It is free to ride on a first-come, first-served basis. Some reminders if you're headed to U-City when the trolley's running. Remember, you can't park along the rails, and the trolleys can't swerve away from pedestrians, so only cross the street at designated crosswalks.